Kat, I think we're live. It's been a while. It has been a while since you and I have done one of these lives. So, before we start, Kat, please tell us what's been going on in the world of Kat.
Well, the world of Cat has just come back from holiday, so it's a bit manic, as you can imagine, when I come back from holiday. But all good stuff happening in the world of education. Obviously, we're planning ahead with conference, so the panels are starting to come together. The agenda's pretty much done. Very exciting, and I know there's going to be some drops over the next couple of weeks, so I'm going to try not to spoil anything like I usually do. Um, Lots of content getting written for me. Like the summer's a nice kind of period to get lots of new enterprise modules written, some new articles written. Just trying to build up our content banks based off our House of Lords kind of feedback. So again, so anyone who thinks like all year long, I'm constantly going back to that list and trying to tick everything off. But yeah, it's just been really, really busy on my end. I don't know what's been going on in your world, Jamie.
Well, I'm going on holiday, as you know, Kat. So, the end of this week, I'm going on holiday.
Woo!
But yeah, there you go. But what's been going on with the AP Association? We've got some loads of exciting stuff. We've got stuff we're going to tell people over the next 10 weeks because,
Mhm.
as Kat's just said, it's 10 weeks to conference. So we're doing the 10-week countdown. It's our 10th anniversary. So we want to celebrate that. So Kat and Jessica actually came up with some great ideas about let's do a 10-year countdown and come up with some fun, jolly things about the association and the industry as a whole. So we're doing 10 at 10. So it's 10 o'clock today. It's 10 weeks to go. And we're going to do 10 fun facts today, I guess, Kat. And we'll start those in a bit. But as far as the association's concerned, wow, what a year we've had so far. You know, we're coming into August very, very strong. We're going to finish this year really, really strong as it's our 10th anniversary. Costas and Ross, our two frontline sales guys, have been doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
Not only looking after our community, but bringing loads of new members in from partners and also community members. So our community continues to grow as always. What's exceptional about everything though, Kat, is as it's the 10th anniversary, I look back at 10 years. I was probably, I've never had really a lot of hair, to be honest, Kat. So I can't blame the anniversary of 10 years on having no hair. But when I look back at 10 years, because I know you and I are going to do some stuff over the next 10 weeks, what was bonkers is that when we started this 2015 and the association was just but an idea, and where we are today is just phenomenal. It really is. And I know that our team, we just take it for granted now that we've got all this community, we've got all these members. But when I sit back and think about those early adopters, those people that were going, who are these? Who's this Radford fella? Why does he keep rocking up on the internet on LinkedIn? What's this stuff about payables and accounts payable and purchase ledger? 10 years on, it is amazing. It really is. And I think at this year's conference, and you and I'll chat about it in a minute, we really want to celebrate everybody that was with us from day one, 2015 and onwards, right through to all the new members that we've got this year and still hopefully get for the coming months and years. Because when we talk about things like conference events and all the stuff that you do every day, Kat, which is all the educational stuff, we make a difference. We really do in people's lives. The association has made a difference in our lives. You joined us a few years ago, Kat. You came out of industry. You joined the association, and you've never looked back. Hopefully, you've got to say that because we're live.
Yep. Now, you know what's really funny is it came up on my memories on the 11th of August in 2021. I did the first ever APTV. I meant to do a post about it, but I was a bit busy. I've got all the screenshots and stuff, so I will do a post about it. But yeah,
Do you know what? It's what's mad about the whole thing. And I talked to a lot of our members. I was with a member last week, and we talk about the journey and where we've been, the association. Sometimes even I forget what we've done along the way. And I think these next 10 weeks, as we count down to the conference, will be like a walk down memory lane for me personally. Some of the things we're going to talk about in the next 10 weeks just make me giggle and make me smile. But it's the personal stories which will become quite prevalent as we talk over the next 10 weeks. So we expect a lot of fun, maybe a few tears, because we've had some tears along the way, tears of joy. That's what I'm going to say. But from the very early days when we really started this, could I ever thought that we were going to get to where we were? Maybe not. I would have hoped we would get to where we are, but it's sort of past my expectations, and that's thanks to everybody in our community, everybody that turns up to these lives, turns up to our events, gets involved wholeheartedly, and then the wonderful AP team. As we've grown over the years, we brought in people in the association that are as passionate as Kat and I, and whether they've been in AP or not. And we use Costas as a good example.
Yeah.
He never had a day in AP in his life, but he even knows what AP is all about now after the years of working for us, Kat. It's not just buzzwords with him now. He was with one of our larger customers last week, and he was talking as though he was an AP professional. So he's listening, he's learning, Kat. He's telling me he's passing the exams and the tests in the background. Whether he's cheating, I don't know, but it's wonderful how to really get involved. Not only our team, our community, and that's thanks to everybody who takes part. So, Kat, we're against time. We're going to try and keep this to half an hour if we can.
Yeah.
I know that we've got, we're going to be up against it. So the idea each week, the 10 at 10, we're going to go through 10 facts or 10 look backs or 10 ideas, things that the industry has seen over the last 10 years or going to see for the next 10 years. But we'll also throw in a few stories along the way, and I've got plenty of those. So if you are watching live, which I can see there's a whole bunch of them saying good morning and live, drop into the comments anything that you might think that we might want to chat about today or in the future, or just tell us in the chat about a memory that's over the last sort of 10 years. Was it your first conference, first event? Have you done one of our qualifications? Are you a member of ours? Anything that you think our audience might want to hear about, pop it in the chat if you don't mind. And there's lots of you saying good morning to us. So Kat, so today I'm looking to my right hand side, so I've got a screen over here. To start this 10 at 10, we're going to do 10 things you can spot at any AP event. Now, just so to give context for anybody who's watching this that do not know the events that we do lots. We do regional sort of events. They're smaller, 50 to 100 people. We do large events like forums where we get all our influencers and our leadership organizations together. We do a conference with 400 or 500 people, Europe's largest conference for payables. And then we do things like House of Lords. So we have to be a bit more sensible there. So that's 150 people. And Kat laughs when we talk about being sensible. We always have a bit of fun. But we have to be more sensible. So today we're going to talk about the 10 things that you can probably spot at most, if not all, of our events. So Kat, if I can, let's start with you. We've got 10 to go through between ourselves. Tell us the first one, and then we'll divulge a bit in terms of what does that mean. Over to you, Kat.
Okay, so these are in no particular order. We've not put them in any ranking, but the first one is a warm welcome back, even if it's your first time. So it's that uncanny APA community ability to make you feel like you're part of a family within 5 minutes.
So, Kat, that is last year, if you think, over the last, say, 7-8 years, as the conference has grown, when we looked at our first real conference, which was back in 2017, actually, that was our very first one, we had, I don't know, 70, 80, 90 people in a room. So you could probably get quite familiar with people because there was not that many people in a room. When you suddenly go to like last year and the year before, when you got 500 people, it can be quite daunting going into a room, can't it, Kat? And what we try to do with our ambassadors, our influencers, is to welcome you in. So what Kat's going through, that warm welcome back, even if it's your first time, is Costas, Kat, everybody talks about the family, the community area. What we want people to do is when they go to any of our events, not to feel awkward, to straight away feel that you're learning, you're educating, you're getting some inspiration, hopefully, but you're meeting, you're networking. And a good example of that last year, Kat, was when we had all our ambassadors and our influencers going around, supporting, making connections. Anything that springs to mind over the last 3 or 4 years, Kat, for you, of anybody making connections, anything that sort of springs to mind?
I think obviously personally for me, because I used to come to the events as a member and stuff, and it's the people that I met on the first day at the first event, like I still speak to quite regularly now, are still my go-tos, are still, even in this role now, I'll just reach out to them on WhatsApp and run an idea past them, and vice versa over the years. And I just think it's really, really sort of nice that a chance meeting at an event, and all of a sudden it's someone you speak to almost on a weekly basis now. Like phenomenal. I
And
think
that's,
Anna, I think I've seen Anna in the comments, was one of the first people I spoke to in Samantha Vaughan at the first table that I went to.
well, look, again, let me tell you a very quick story, and we're not going to bore you
Mhm.
with lots of stories because I've got thousands of them, and I'll bore everybody. If you want to go to sleep at 10 o'clock, then listen to me.
Yeah.
Our very first conference, our very first event, 2017, the very first person that attended turned up 2 hours early. So we were all getting ready, we were all stressed, and we're running around like headless chickens to get ready for 70, 80 people, wherever it was. And she turned up and she sat in the reception area waiting. Her name was Linda. I'm not going to embarrass her to sort of tell her who it was. I won't give her a second name, but she might be watching live. She sat there for 2 hours, and about an hour after she turned up, one of our team went along and said, "Can we help you?" She said, "I'm here for the conference," which was great. And we said, "Okay." I said, "Did you realise it started I think it started at 10 o'clock?" She says, "Yes." She said, "But I'm so excited because there's never been one of these before. I had to turn up early." So we had this very first person, and she's still with us 10 years on, 10 years that she's been in our community. And what a lovely thought. And for me, anyway, personally, I remember these things. I can see Gareth Jones is in the comments. Gareth will remember this. Gareth was there in the first early doors. He's our tech expert. Gareth was setting all the technical stuff up. I was probably 3 or 4 stone overweight, sweating profusely because I didn't know what I was going to do and stand up on stage and talk. But it was lovely. I remember Linda as though it was yesterday, and she's still around with our community. And they're the moments that you remember. So that warm welcome, you're always guaranteed when you come to an event of the APA. Right. The next one, Kat, if I can jump on this one, is over the years, we've had lots and lots of MCs. Probably the most infamous one is the very one we were at the first, which was Michael Ryan. A big shout out to the Irish Michael Ryan and the Irish crowd. Really popular choice, always has been. Michael, hopefully you'll join us this year. Come along as one of our guests. So we started with Michael, and as we've gone through, I've had a dabble in this MC crowd. We've had Richard, our Director of Education, that had a dabble at this as well. But I've got to be honest, nobody stands anywhere near what I'm going to call the famous Geordie MC. So Kat, being the Geordie MC extraordinaire, you will, look, Kat, I've got used to your Geordieisms, or whatever you're going to call them. But Kat, you always lead from the front. You're our MC. You're doing it again this year. I think we're going to share that at a conference this year. But yeah, what's phenomenal is your journey to get that Geordie MC vibe going on. A bit of fun. Tell us a funny moment from your last sort of 3-4 years as you've been doing MCing for us, Kat.
Usually it's just the sort of chaos before I go on stage. Usually it's it, because obviously there's a lot of things happening, and obviously for my role, like I'm very focused on like the panels and making sure the panels are okay. And I remember when we did our Oxford Forum, was the first time I was moderating a panel, and I genuinely looked at Michael Short, our COO, and he went, "Are you okay?" And I went, "I've spent so much time preparing my panel, I haven't prepared myself." And I was literally getting mic'd up. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I think it worked out all right. And that's kind of the Kat Moy approach most of the time, to be honest. So if it looks like in control, I don't know how. But to be honest, like I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a little bit out of my comfort zone. I always say I'm a bit of an introvert in an extrovert kind of world and job sometimes. But yeah, it's been quite the journey that's been facilitated by yourself and the rest of the team that have kind of like nudged me on, starting on panels online during the dark times, the COVID times, and just getting to sort of progress to doing it in person, then moderating panels. And then I think last year, I was moderating some of our smaller events, and then you gotta love Jamie in a team meeting goes, "Oh yeah, Kat's gonna MC the conference in front of 400 people last year." And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" I am.
It's encouraging you, Kat. But again,
Yes.
look, I think
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, and you've grown, and I mean, the next one on the list, which you hopefully going to talk about, is the panel stuff, Kat. But I think what we do as an industry, as a community, and as a profession, we encourage individuals to take, that next step. Sometimes it is hard to stand in front of 400 or 500 people and talk, and I'm guilty of it as well. I get very nervous, and hopefully, but the wonderful thing about our community, as Kat, is they're just so welcoming. They all want you to succeed. Doesn't matter whether you spit out the wrong words. It doesn't matter. Our community is so welcoming. So, Kat, tell us number 3 on our list of 10 today.
So number 3 is lively panel debates. So where agree to disagree usually ends in a laugh, a handshake, and another cup of coffee. So yeah, obviously panels make up a lot of our events, and we've been really, really fortunate, certainly in the years I've been a part of the APA, to have fantastic panelists. Our partners join the panels and contribute wonderfully. And again, like you mentioned about myself, but for me, the joy is seeing like some of our community members come on leaps and bounds with speaking, even starting to get people who I never thought in a million years would reach out to me and say like, okay, I'm interested in speaking. Can you give me some coaching? It's amazing. Like, it makes my job a bit harder about who I pick half the time. And I feel
I think that's,
terrible.
but you know what, Kat, and look, because we do so many different types of events and different levels of events, it is difficult. It really is to stand on stage, whether you're in front of 50 people, 100, 200, 500 people. It's difficult because you're putting yourself in the spotlight. The one thing I would say is because we do panels, it makes it a little easier because you're amongst 4 or 5 people on the stage. You're sharing experience. You're talking about, one of the sayings I have, and one of the things that's very close to our heart, is the reason the association exists and started was we only really wanted experts in our industry. We don't want people that pretended to be in the industry, people that are just in it to try and make a bit of money, trying to sell you something. We want real stories from real people, real experts, and that's what your panels do. You've boosted confidence for lots of people over the last, whatever amount of years. And the wonderful thing is, as you say, we've got this big selection of people who, as soon as we announce we're doing conference, whatever, there's a list. The emails ping into Kat, the infamous WhatsApp group, loads of people coming in. Kat, I want to be on the panel. I want to be. We could literally do a day of panels because we've got that many people. But that's phenomenal. That's why we're making a difference, hopefully. But the confidence levels, the expertise, they all come out in those panels. So let me go on to number 4. I'm just conscious of time, Kat. The networking. Let's talk about networking. When you come to any of our events, conferences, forums, etc., the power is in the networking. One of the things it disappoints me is when you hear from our members that they have to get the sign off to come to an event. Totally understand that. I've been a senior finance manager most of my career, and it makes sense that you have to go and understand why people have to then go along and get approval to come along. There's a return on investment, etc. When we outline what you do and you get at conferences and forums, we say you get inspiration, education. We also then highlight this networking thing. You'll be able to build a network. You'll be able to talk about real issues with real people and get people to interact with you. Sometimes that's a challenge because more senior people go, why is that? What's the benefit of going networking with people? Kat, the most successful people in our community are the people who are networking continually, get that support network behind them. That 400 or 500 people in that room at conference are people in the same boat. They're all going through systems issues, process issues, people issues, whatever. You've got a network around you. You can go and ask, get support, get guidance, get whatever it might do. And I know for you, Kat, personally, the networking thing was a big part of why you joined as a member of ours way back when, and then you become a part of the association. Do you totally agree?
Yeah, totally agree. Especially like for me back in the day, I am still based in Newcastle. Being in Newcastle, there wasn't really anything around and nobody talked about the profession. So it was really nice to come to events and get to know people. And then, like you say, create WhatsApp groups, or like obviously now we have the hub where you could just go and throw a question in. And like during that time I got promoted and I had it was difficult, challenging is what we'll say. So I got to throw questions out. I was at a House of Lords event and Rachel Long, God love her, came up and went, "Are you enjoying your new job?" And I basically just had a bit of a breakdown and she picked me up and sorted me out and gave me some advice, as did a lot of people in the community. So yeah, absolutely amazing, the power of networking.
So whenever you're going to go and get approval to come to an event or become a member, networking is a real benefit, I promise you. I know it can be challenging to go to a finance director and go, yeah, I'm going to do a load of networking. The reality is, from your personal development, your community development, and your career going forward, trust me, the power of networking is how the community's got built. When I was sitting in my lonesome 10 years ago, sitting in a little darkened room going, how am I going to build a community? I never thought it was going to get this large, but that's the power. That's where it really came from. So over to you, Kat, number 5.
Yeah, and I think number 5's pretty self-explanatory, but there will be photographs everywhere. If you haven't been tagged in an APA event photo yet, were you even there? Is what we'd say. Because I think there's always camera people around, and they always seem to get really unfortunate shots of me where I'm like mid something. Like,
Well, listen, Kat, I think I said that last week I went to one of our members up north in Blackburn, and he won't mind me saying this. He was, yeah, his comment around the photo side was quite challenging because he said, "How come you always find photos of the most awkward situations and then you then publicly put them on, plaster them all over the internet?" By the way, we don't do that. There's lots of photos.
No.
We always ask for permission if we're going to use published photos. But Matt Smith and Joe Cooper both had an amazing photo. Well, it was a video actually, where they were wearing some daft headwear. And it's the front of our corporate video to tell you all about our conference. Matt's team had not seen this video, so we had pleasure of showing the team a picture of him with his headwear and Joe Cooper as well. It was a bit of fun. Both of those individuals are amazing in terms of what they do in the organisation they work for. But Kat's absolutely right. When you come along, you can take photos, you can tag other people in. There's photos galore, but we never use them if it's not without your permission. So just don't be afraid to come along just in case you can get snapped. But it's like a memory for me personally. 10 years ago, I've got thousands of photos that I look back, and I will be personally sharing those over the next 10 weeks. Lots of photos of people. If you don't want me to share them or you want to take them down, let me know. But I will sharing them because I've got so many memories I want to share people over the next 10 years. So number 6, the selfie tradition. One of the things, and I think I probably started this many years ago, Kat, where I used to stand at the front of the stage and take lots of selfies, and even I was blown away with the people who was on stage with me. One of the panels we just had a powerhouse of AP leaders from around the world, and I had to take a selfie. But it's become a tradition, and I think it's the youngsters. It's not my age; it's your age, Kat, and it's all the ones that come along, and literally everything around the event they want to take a selfie in it. I think we've had lots of selfies at the House of Lords. Probably, by the way, when you're at the Lords, they do say don't take in photos. It's apparently, yeah, right, okay, and as though everybody's going to do that. But the selfie tradition is a big one at our events. Don't you agree, Kat?
Yeah, absolutely. You can always find Stuart Griffiths as his phone taking a selfie going around.
Well, yeah, so maybe that's why he lost the press-up competition. He was too busy taking selfies last year. So he was doing one-handed press-ups. That's the reason. Stuart, yeah. I've got it. Yeah, you came runner-up. Let's say that because you were doing one-handed press-ups. I'll do the same this year. I'll do one-handed press-ups. Okay. So number 7 then, Kat.
Yeah, unscripted mic drop moments. So speakers going off piece to share a golden nugget of wisdom or a cracking story about an AP mishap. I think that's fair. I think this year at Forum we had a chant for samosas because of the lunch. So there's always an unscripted moment. Myself and Mandy in 2023 got a wrestling chant over because we both watch wrestling.
And do you know what? And it's one of those, when we talk about people's career and development, I'll just share something there for Chris about Mr. Griffiths there. But one of the things for me is we talk about trying to develop people. And we've had people over the years that have, we use Slido a lot at our events. So if you don't want to talk, you can post stuff on a Slido and it comes up on the screen. What happens at our events is as people get more and more confident, they grab the mic off you in the audience, and then you're going to try and wrestle that mic back. And we've had lots of people who have grabbed that mic and then suddenly taken over the airwaves. And I'm not going to embarrass anybody, but you know who you are. And they're amazing. They get their confidence. Next thing, they're on stage with us. There's lots of those people. So those unscripted things, it's like a good comedian, I suppose. They have lots of unscripted moments. It's been a pleasure to listen, to see develop and whatever. Some a bit more embarrassing than others, but yeah, totally agree with that, Kat. So number 8, the awards. We're going to talk about awards in a second before we close out for today, Kat. But the standing ovations that the award winners get, it's always lovely to see how people celebrate other people's successes. So when you've got 300-400 people in a room all waiting there to see if they've won the team of the year, the manager of the year, and projects of the year, whatever it will be, even when they might come run up or don't win, the standing ovation people get, it just literally is phenomenal. And we capture those with photos and videos. Kat, you must have seen that over the years, how it's just evolved from a small little awards ceremony in the middle of the day to what it's become now, this huge event of 300-400 people on a gala dinner time. Is there a favourite moment of yours, Kat, where we've had those standing ovations?
You know, like for my journey, I was going to say Sarah Turner does immediately spring to mind, although I did nearly get set on fire by the pyro. But that's a different story for a different day. But for me, the first one I came to is when we had the smaller awards post-COVID in Coventry. So I've really got to see it grow from where there was maybe 20 of us in that socially distanced space.
Yeah.
To then each year just growing that a little bit more, bit more pyrotechnics, bit more glitter, you know. Obviously we've added more awards. It's just been amazing. But yeah, Sarah Turner absolutely stands out for me last year, because I thought, you know, considering she got put on the spot for a speech, I would not have handled that as gracefully as she did.
But it's like you say, Kat, because it's one, you don't even know if you're going to win. Two, then suddenly you're announced as a winner, and then three, somebody throws a mic in your face. And by the way, we only did that particular one. There was a couple that we did that. Most of the time, you stand on stage, you get your photos and videos and all good stuff. But yeah, Sarah stood out for me. But over the years, because obviously, you know, as I look back to when we started the awards, there's been some amazing winners. But not only are the winners amazing, but it's the community that support them. And it's just lovely, one, the standing ovation, to see them, you know, really want to, you know, others to succeed. But also the follow-up as well. How people then, every time they meet each other, they talk about the awards and amazing it is for you to win an award. And like last week, this customer I went into, you go around and the certificates and awards on drawers and cabinets and on walls. You just walk in, you think, wow, they're all proud. And then I'm walking through other departments like credit departments and payroll departments, and the walls are blank. And I'm not saying that's all down to us, but how proud they are of what they do and achieve. So a big plus there, Kat. So okay, number 9, Kat, over to you.
Yeah, the one table that's laughing the loudest. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. This year there's going to be some competition because we've got a lot of people bringing a lot of members of their teams, so it'll be really, maybe we should have an award for that going forward. The table that laughs the loudest. Honestly,
it's, you know, you want to dial down a little bit of the noise, but then you think to yourself, why? As over the last 2 years, obviously, as we've gone to a gala dinner, you've got the conference, which is just amazing. You know, it's such a whirlwind of education, inspiration, networking opportunities, lots and lots of, and all our partners, solution partners are there. So you learn so much. When we get into the gala dinner, you'd think, because the amount of talking and energy all the community give, they'd be shattered. It's like they're getting a second wind. They get there on the evening, don't they, Kat? And there's every table. They're all dressed up in different sort of themes. And we'll talk about themes in a second. And then it's just the noise factor. It just starts to build. We've got entertainment, all that good stuff. But the tables of energy, and we'll call them tables of energy, it's just phenomenal. And it just makes me smile. Honestly, I stand at the side and I watch it. And I just think that, I go, wow. And it's just the noise coming from all the groups. And then as the awards are announced, the noise in the room is just wow. In fact, we'll get one of those soundometer things, whatever they're called. Somebody in the chat tell me what they're called. We'll see if we can break a world record for the noisiest community or crowd. Let's get in the world record books, Kat, and see if we can break the world record. So we've got one last, number 10. And this is really important. It's something that, as a kudos of, as an organisation, association, we always make sure that we want to give to our community. And the leaving with more than you came for is something that stands really at the heart of what we do. So when you come along to an event of ours, whether it's conference forums, House of Lords, whatever, or an update, or you attend a masterclass. So Kat does some amazing masterclasses throughout the year. You're going there for a period of time. You're going there, you're giving us your time. You're trusting us with your time. So we make sure we do everything in our power so you go away with whatever you expected, we over deliver. And we do that every single year. Conference is a really good example of that, where people always say every year, Kat, how are you going to sort of match or better last year? That's it. So sound level meter. Max Ken, DJ extraordinaire, he's in there. I knew Max would know it. sound level meter. Thank you, Max. You're in charge of that this year, mate. We might put you on the DJ stand as well. But the important part for us is you always will. I promise you. You'll leave with so much more than you may have ever expected. We absolutely serve our community. As you know, our marketing team send out surveys. Paige and the team want to know. We want to learn from the feedback you give us. Can we improve things? Did you enjoy things? Did you not enjoy things? But the most important part, and I would say 99.9% of the entire community always comment, we got so much more out of what we were expecting, whether it's your first time or your 10th year. Kat, you must have had that over the sort of years that you've been working with the association.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, for me, like I've sort of touched on already, when I got promotion and I just sort of like downloaded my brain to our community and got so much advice. I think I remember Karen Young from Hayes giving me a pep talk at one point, even including the APA team as well, in that as well. But yeah, there's loads of good stuff that you come out with, whether it's a new friend or some tips and tricks, or even just something to go away and what I call simmer on it. Maybe something you hadn't considered or you've been very dead against in terms of whether it's a policy or a process, and then you're like, okay, well, that works for that person, or a piece of technology. It's like, okay, I'll go away and investigate it a little bit more, or a different style.
Yeah. And I think you're right, Kat. I think, it depends what you're expecting when you turn up at an event of ours. And I'm going to use conference because we've got that countdown 10-week going on. But if you go into one of our events expecting nothing, you will massively come away with lots. If you go there for a particular reason, you want to meet a solution partner, you want to understand what the industry is doing, you want to go and educate yourself, you want to go and be inspired because we have inspirational speakers galore. There's plenty of offer for all those things. My suggestion and guidance for you is try and set some expectation for you when you come to any of our events. Try and think about what you're trying to get out of it. It is lovely, don't get me wrong, to meet old friends, 10th year anniversary. Go in there with a blank mind on hopefully we'll inspire you, we'll educate you. But if you go in there with sort of an agenda, what you're trying to get out of it, you can then look back and go, did I get what I want from that event? And it doesn't matter if you come to our event or others' events. Try and think about what you're trying to achieve, because your time is really valuable. We get that. A lot of our members actually take holidays. Kat, you're one of these that take holidays to come to our events. And, if you're taking time of yourself and your effort and your travel time, we should absolutely deliver for you. So please set yourself, what I'm trying to get out of these events. It might be you want to win an award, absolutely. But if it's, like Kat said, if you want to go and educate yourself, network with people, talk about a particular topic or subject, just because it's not on the agenda of what we're going to talk about, you've got 400 or 500 people in a room. Go network, go and find out those people who will know the answers for you. And the other thing I would say is that once you've been to an event of ours, the other thing is that you've got our community platforms as well. So we've invested heavily this year in a community platform where we do talk about these topics and the discussions around what goes on within the industry. Jump into the community. If you're a member of ours, whether you're a professional, corporate, enterprise member, jump into those areas. Continue the conversations from our live events into the community, because that's where it all happens. Kat's in those portals most weeks. Costas, Ross, Paige, Bryony, the whole team are constantly in those areas to support you and make sure you're getting the benefits of the membership. So, Kat, look, we've done the 30 minutes. We've done our time. So let's quickly talk about, before we close up for today, conference. So before we sort of get into the conference, we've got the awards deadline, I believe.
Looming.
It's the 31st of August.
Yep.
We, again, as always, we have a phenomenal list of people that put themselves through for awards. What we usually find, Kat, and it always is the same, that people, it's the summer holidays, we get that. I'm on holiday from Friday. People leave these stuff till last minute. What we do need to do, though, is just remind people that even if you're going to leave it towards the back end of August, please do it, because we always are flexible. We always, historically, we've allowed that to creep a little bit. We're trying to be, wherever we possibly can, stricter with the amount of time that we allow our judges to go and judge all of those nominations. Because, Kat, you're a judge, I'm a judge. We've got a whole panel of people that judge with us this year. We need to give them the time, because there's so much data, so much information we have to read. Yeah. So the more that we push those times out, the more challenging it is. So Is there any ones of the 12 odd awards that I think we've got this year, Kat? Anything that we need to just do? So we highlight a couple this week, and maybe highlight some. So is there any ones that we want to highlight this week, Kat?
Yeah, I think obviously we've made some new additions this year. So I would particularly like to highlight the Public Sector Team of the Year Award and the Shared Services Team of the Year Award, because obviously our AP Team of the Year Award is always so hotly contested. We decided to kind of break it up, so maybe there's more opportunity there with public sector and shared services, and we know we have those in our community. So I really want to highlight those, and I'm going to do a couple of LinkedIn posts over the next week just to highlight those categories a little bit more, because there are brand new ones, and yeah, I think they're going to be really, really special. And I think that's an award most public sector and shared service teams would love to have on their shelf.
I totally agree. And I think, the public sector one, the reason why that came about was because we have a lot of public sector organisations we work with, and it's a challenging environment they work in. The budgets are usually very tight. Every penny counts, which all organisations have. But we wanted to really recognise public sector organisations that have a challenging job just in the day-to-day stuff they do, but also get that accolade and that reward. So if you're a member of the AP Association and you're in that public sector, make sure you get your nominations in. I'm sure Cass, Cars and the team will be nudging you to make sure you have already.
Yep.
If you're not a member of the association, the challenge you've got there is that we can, just 2 seconds. Look at that, someone's at the front door, Kat. I'll let them ring. But if you are in the public sector and you're not a member of the association, have a chat with Kat, have a chat with Cos, because what we might be able to do is expedite your membership, put you into a category this year, because we've had so many historic notable entries. We've had to try and restrict it down to members only this year, and we've got a lot. We have a lot already. We're still trying to push this as well for the next 2 or 3 weeks. But if you're not a member of ours, by all means, have a chat with Cos and Kat, because I'm sure we can then maybe talk to you about how you might be able to put the application in if you're a non-member as well. Right? And then the shared service centre one that Kat mentioned there, come on. I mean, it's my background. I've been in shared service centres most of my life. I work with a lot of shared services, a lot of them. And there's a lot of our members that are shared services. Yeah. And again, even if you're not a member of ours yet, have a chat with us. I'm sure there's some way that we can talk to you about that. But come on, all you shared services out there, if you haven't always put your award nomination in, get them in, because I'll be nudging you. It won't be Kat and Carl, it'll be me. I'll be nudging you because I know how hard it is to work in large shared service centres with all the stuff you've got. So please make sure you get those in. So Kat, before we close out today, we're a little bit over, but who cares? Talk about the theme. Let's talk about I think we're allowed to talk about the theme, aren't we, Kat?
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
What's the theme for Gala Dinner this year?
We're all going to a masquerade ball, is what I understand. Oh, okay. I just think Phantom of the Opera when I hear that. Like, I'm thinking like a big cape and a mask that covers up most of my face, which makes my life a lot easier going from day to night. But I'm really looking forward. I've heard some people already like putting their ensembles together, and there's themes within the theme. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing what people come out with.
Yes, you and me both, Kat. And I think, so it's masquerade. I've been told the same, Kat. Yeah, I can just put. I'm just going to wear a balaclava. It might be a bit warm. Who cares? But again, yes. So masquerade is the theme. It's your choice whether you get involved or not. It's completely your choice. What we say at all our gala dinners, we're not a stuffy institute that we say it's all formal. We say business attire, black tie, hopefully, if people really want to get involved, and masquerade as a theme. What we want you to do is be comfortable. Come along, enjoy yourself. Let your hair down. As you can see, mine's already gone. Mine's went down and gone many years ago. But the most important way, you come along, you celebrate, you get involved with our community. The gala dinner promises, as always, to be super successful. And we've got lots of surprises for you this year in the 10th anniversary, both day and night. Over the next 10 weeks, Kat and I will drop who's talking, what we're talking about. Every week we'll talk a bit more about each one. We've got some great special announcements to announce over the next 10 weeks. Kat, next week I'm on holiday, which is, I don't know if I mentioned that. I don't know if I've told people I'm on holiday. No,
I can't be that better when I've just come back.
There you go. So I won't be on the live next week. Kat, you'll be joined by his name's Costas, is it? I don't know
Yeah,
what his
he's a
name
bit
is.
shy. He's a bit shy, but you know, we'll bring Costas on.
Go and bring him
next
out of
week.
himself. So Kat, I'll be watching, hopefully at a sunbed somewhere,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'll comment in the comments if necessary. But so next week, Kat, you'll announce next week what you'll be talking about, the top 10 at 10.
Yep.
Today, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for people who've joined us. I know it's half term, or it's 6 weeks holidays, it's summer holidays, whatever people are up to. So listening to you and I, Kat, for 40 minutes is not priority for people, but thank you for coming along, all those people in
Thank
the
you,
live.
everyone.
As we get closer to conference, we'll get more excited and we'll talk more about awards and the categories and whatever. Over the next 10 weeks, if you've got anything you want to talk to Kat and I about in terms of your memories over the last 10 years, it can be in your own organization, it can be about as an industry, it can be an event, let us know, because we want to really celebrate 10 weeks of APA, what we've done in the community, what we've done for an industry. We'll sign off that, Kat. Have a wonderful week next week when I'm away, and good luck with Costas. See if you can keep him in line. You and I have gone over a little bit, 10 minutes over. I don't know how long he's going to go over for, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll
see.
see.
Schedules everybody.
Yeah, he's actually going to do this thing called work as well, Kat, but I'm sure he'll be fine. Have a wonderful day, Kat. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for everybody who's joined us live. Anybody who's watching this back and repeat, remember what we say. Awards finish in 2 weeks' time, or the deadlines finish in 2 weeks' time. Please get them in. Go onto the website. Kat, next week, I guess we need to put that on the bottom, the awards bit. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. I will see you in 2 weeks' time. Thanks all.
Thanks, everyone.